AI is everywhere, right? But the real question is, how do we actually work with it? As AI gets more and more powerful, figuring out the right amount of human control isn't just some tech problem. It's absolutely essential for safety, for ethics, and for actually getting the results we want from this incredible technology. And this right here gets to the very heart of the challenge. On one hand, you have the human brain, with all its creativity, its common sense, and its moral compass. On the other hand, you've got the raw brute force efficiency of AI. So the big question is, how do we get these two to work together to get the best of both worlds without, losing control or creating a total mess? So here's our game plan for today. First, we'll look at this fundamental balancing act between AI's speed and human control. Then, we're going to dive deep into the three main models for this: human in the loop, human on the loop, and human in command. And finally, we'll talk about how to actually pick the right one for the job. And let's be clear, this isn't just theory. Getting this balance right is everything. Just unleashing AI's efficiency without the right kind of human oversight, well, that's a recipe for disaster. These models we're about to explore are basically the playbooks that let us use AI's power without losing our minds. Okay, so to solve this puzzle, three main frameworks have really come to the forefront. The best way to think about them is like different settings on a dial, where you can tune in the perfect level of human involvement versus AI freedom. So let's get to know our options. All right, think of this table as our cheat sheet for the whole explainer. It lays out our three models, HITL, HOTL, and HIC, right next to each other. For example, just glance at that first row for HITL. You can see human involvement is collaborative, and AI autonomy is reliant on human. That tells you right away you're getting tons of control, but it's going to be less efficient. We're about to dive into each of these, but this is the big picture. Keep this framework in your head as we go. First up, we've got human in the loop, or HITL. The easiest way to think about this one is as a constant partnership. The human and the AI are like co-pilots, working together on every single step of the journey. This simple visual shows you exactly what's going on. The human is an active, totally essential part of the process. The AI literally cannot move forward without that direct human interaction. At its core, HITL is all about continuous collaboration. The AI is a powerful assistant, sure. It can analyze data, suggest options, but it can't act by itself. It needs that human handshake, that explicit green light to do anything. It really is constant teamwork. Here's a perfect real-world example. In healthcare, an AI might scan a pathology slide and flag cells that look suspicious, but it's always the human pathologist who makes that final diagnosis. This model is absolutely vital for high-stakes situations where you just can't replace human expertise and judgment. The trade-off is pretty clear. With HITL, you get maximum control and really high-quality decisions. Plus, the system is always learning from human feedback. But all that constant back and forth makes it slower and, more expensive. It's all about prioritizing safety over speed. Now let's move on to our second model and see how things change. This is human on the loop, or HOTL. Here, the human's role shifts from being a collaborator to being a supervisor. Think of an air traffic controller overseeing a sky full of mostly autonomous planes. They're ready to step in if anything goes wrong. This eye icon really captures the spirit of HOTL. The human steps back from the controls. They're not involved in every little action. Instead, they are always watching, ready to intervene if the system needs some guidance. So with this model, the AI gets the go-ahead to handle routine stuff all on its own. It's working autonomously, but the human expert is always on the loop, ready to jump in and take over if the AI runs into a problem it can't solve. It's a big shift from being a partner to being a supervisor. Just think about remote patient monitoring. An AI can watch a patient's vital signs 24/7, a job that's impossible for a person. It works on its own and only alerts a nurse when it detects a real problem. This is a perfect balance of AI's tireless efficiency and a human's critical expertise. So what's the catch? The big pro is efficiency. It's way faster than HIT. But the cons? Well, they introduce new dangers. What happens if the human supervisor is distracted and steps in too late? Or worse, what if we get so comfortable that we just stop paying attention at all? That kind of over-reliance is the critical risk with the HOTL model. And that brings us to our final model, human in command, or HIC. If HITL is a co-pilot and HOTL is a supervisor, then HIC is the commander. Think of a surgeon using a highly advanced robotic tool. That tool is incredibly powerful, but the surgeon is in absolute control of its every move. This icon says it all. The human isn't just part of the system or watching over it. They are firmly in command, directing every key action and holding all the authority. Period. Now pay close attention here, because this distinction is everything. The AI can act with autonomy, say moving a robotic arm with perfect precision, but it can never decide with autonomy. The human makes every single strategic call. The AI just executes. The responsibility always stays with the person. Robotic surgery is the textbook example of HIC. The robot provides incredible precision and stability that a human hand can't match, but the surgeon is controlling its every single movement, making every incision, and holding complete responsibility for the outcome. It's a high-stakes world where there can be zero question about who is in charge. The benefit of HIC is absolute clarity. You get maximum control, safety, and human accountability. It's non-negotiable for life-or-death situations. But that safety comes at a pretty steep price. The whole system is slower, that one human commander is a bottleneck, and the mental load on that person can be enormous. So after breaking down all three models, we're left with the final practical question. How do you choose the right one for your specific needs? Well, there's no magic formula here. The right choice depends on how you answer a few key questions. What exactly is the task? How reliable and mature is your AI? What's the cost of a mistake? Is it a typo, or is it something far, far worse? And what are the ethical stakes? Your answers are going to point you directly to HITL, HOTL, or HIC. In the end, it all comes down to finding that perfect balance. We have to push innovation forward with AI, but especially in fields like healthcare, we have to balance it with a really profound sense of human care. Efficiency, quality, and ethics, they aren't competing goals. They are all part of the very same mission. So we'll leave you with this question to think about. In your own life or in your own job, when it comes to the most critical decisions, which model would you choose? Do you want an AI collaborator, a supervisor, or do you need to be the one fully in command? The right answer is going to define our future with this technology.